This tiny 10 cents coin from Australia could be hiding a fortune, and collectors are paying big for rare ones. Watch now to see if you have the jackpot coin in your pocket. Only on HD Old Coins 51. Top 1. In the vibrant tapestry of Australia's numismatic history, the 1968 Australian 10 cents coin stands as a remarkable artifact, weaving together stories of tradition, artistry, and national identity. As we journey back to the late 1960s, a period marked by significant change and modernization, this coin emerges not just as a medium of exchange, but as a symbol of a nation's evolving narrative. The year 1968 was a time of transformation for Australia. The country was embracing the decimal currency system, a monumental shift from the pounds, shillings, and pence that had been in use for over a century. Introduced in 1966, the new decimal system aimed to simplify transactions and align Australia with global economic standards. Amidst this backdrop, the 10 cents coin was minted, embodying both continuity and change. Crafted from a durable copper-nickel alloy, the coin measures 23.6 millimeters in diameter and weighs 5.65 grams. Its composition ensures longevity, allowing it to withstand the rigors of daily circulation. The milled edge not only adds a tactile element but also serves as a deterrent against counterfeiting. The obverse of the coin features the second portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by the renowned British sculptor Arnold Machin. This depiction presents the Queen facing right, adorned with the girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara. The portrait exudes a sense of grace and stability, reflecting the monarchy's enduring presence in Australian society. The inscription Elizabeth II Australia 1968 encircles the portrait, grounding the coin firmly in its temporal and geographical context. Turning the coin over, the reverse showcases the exquisite artistry of Stuart Devlin, Australia's official goldsmith and jeweler at the time. Here, we encounter the male superb lyrebird, Menura novahollandii, a creature native to Australia's forests and renowned for its elaborate tail feathers and remarkable mimicry skills. The lyrebird is depicted in a poised stance, its ornate tail plumes fanned forward over its head, capturing a moment of natural splendor. Above the bird, the denomination 10 is prominently displayed, while Devlin's initials, SD, subtly grace the field beside the lyrebird's right foot. The choice of the lyrebird is deeply symbolic. As a species unique to Australia, it represents the country's rich biodiversity and the value placed on preserving natural heritage. Moreover, the lyrebird's ability to mimic sounds resonates with the idea of adaptation and resilience, qualities that were particularly pertinent during Australia's transition to a new currency system. In terms of mintage, approximately 57.2 million of these coins were produced in 1968, making them relatively common in circulation. However, their availability does not diminish their appeal to collectors. The absence of a 1968 mint set release by the Royal Australian Mint adds a layer of rarity, especially for those seeking uncirculated specimens. This scarcity and pristine condition elevates the coin's desirability among numismatists. Over the years, the 1968 10 cents coin has garnered attention not only for its design and historical significance, but also for its market value. While circulated coins are generally accessible, uncirculated or high-grade examples can command impressive prices at auctions and among private collectors. For instance, a 1968 Australian Elizabeth II 10 cents coin in fine condition has been listed on eBay, indicating sustained interest and value appreciation over time, beyond its monetary worth. The coin serves as a tangible connection to a pivotal era in Australia's history. It encapsulates the nation's journey towards modernization, the embrace of a new economic system, and the celebration of unique cultural symbols. Each coin tells a story, not just of commerce, but of identity, artistry, and the collective memory of a nation. As we reflect on the 1968 Australian 10 cents coin, we are reminded that currency is more than a tool for transactions. It is a canvas that captures the essence of a country's values, achievements, and aspirations. Holding this coin is akin to holding a piece of Australia's soul, a small, circular testament to a rich and dynamic heritage. Top 2. In the year 1973, Australia stood at a crossroads of transformation. The echoes of the 1966 decimalization still resonated through its economy, and the freshly minted coins of the past decade had already begun to weave themselves into the fabric of everyday Australian life. But among these pieces of pocket change, there emerged one coin, modest in face value, yet destined for legendary status among collectors. The 1973 Australian 10 cents. It was a small, unassuming silver-colored coin, crafted from cupronickel, barely noticeable in a handful of change. But beneath its dull metallic sheen was a story, one forged in a year of national change, global influence, and unexpected rarity. This wasn't just another piece of currency. It was a silent witness to a nation evolving, adapting, and carving its identity into both its land and its coinage. The 10-cent coin had always played a quiet role in commerce, slipping through hands, pockets, and counters without fanfare. Yet the 1973 issue became something different, something coveted. Its low mintage meant fewer of these coins circulated, and fewer still survived the passage of time unscathed. This was not a coin that everyone kept. In fact, many Australians spin it without a second thought, not realizing the treasure they held. Collectors, however, would later understand. The numbers told the story. Just 2 million of these coins were ever struck at the Royal Australian Mint in Canberra, a dramatic decline compared to previous years. That small figure turned the 1973 10-cent coin into a quiet legend. Among numismatists, it whispered of opportunity, rarity, and hidden wealth. The kind of coin that could transform an overlooked drawer of old coins into a jackpot. But the rarity alone didn't crown it king. The design, too, carried legacy and artistry. The reverse, designed by Stuart Devlin, the esteemed goldsmith and jeweler to the Queen, featured the curled lyrebird, a creature native to Australia, its tail feathers fanned in a spectacular display. Every line, every curl, spoke of Devlin's precision, capturing both the wild elegance of the bird and the pride of a nation whose natural wonders defined its soul. On the obverse, the regal portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, sculpted by Arnold Machin, stood serene and dignified, her gaze fixed toward the future. It was this duality, the wildness of the lyrebird and the calm authority of the monarch, that gave the coin its balance. A harmony of nature and nobility, economy and artistry. But it wasn't until decades later that the true power of this coin revealed itself, not in markets, not in shops, but in the electric intensity of auctions. It was there, under the gleam of spotlights and the hammer of auctioneers, that the 1973 10-cent coin found its stage. Whispers among collectors turned into bids. Quiet nods became competition. And in Sydney, at a rare coin auction hosted by Downey's Australian Coin Auctions, a 1973 10-cent piece in near uncirculated UNC condition stunned the audience by fetching a price of $2,200 AUD. From 10 cents to over $2,000. It was a staggering return. But more than just the price, it was the story that enthralled everyone present. A coin once passed over by children at milk bars was now a centerpiece of serious investment. Its value wasn't just in metal or design, it was in history, condition, scarcity, and the thrill of the hunt. Coin experts have since agreed. The 1973 10-cent coin is a sleeper hit, a hidden gem in the decimal series. It's not always the oldest or the shiniest coins that become the most valuable. It's the rare, the overlooked, the ones lost to time that resurface with a vengeance in the world of numismatics. And as collectors comb through their jars, boxes, and inherited stashes, there's always that hope that maybe, just maybe, a 1973 10-cent coin lies hidden within. It's not just a coin. It's a relic, a chapter in Australia's economic narrative, a prize for those with the eyes to see and the patience to search. And the story doesn't end here. Top 3. In a quiet corner of the globe, nestled under the Southern Cross, a humble piece of metal was struck at the Royal Australian Mint in Canberra in the year 1990. It was round, small, and silver-toned, an ordinary 10-cent coin, barely noticed in daily transactions. Yet, this coin would go on to find a second life in the hands of numismatists, collectors, and history lovers across the world. The 1990 Australian 10-cent coin, while common in appearance, carries with it a remarkable story of resilience, evolution, and a surprising rise in value that no one could have predicted at the time of its minting. Australia in 1990 was a country on the cusp of transformation. Politically, economically, and socially, the nation was redefining its place in the world. The bicentenary of European settlement was still fresh in the national consciousness. Currency, as always, played an unspoken yet symbolic role in this narrative. And within that metallic lexicon, the 10-cent coin stood proud, stamped with a design that had not changed since decimalization in 1966, yet still felt modern and rooted in the land's natural beauty. The coin featured a most iconic image. The lyrebird, with its sweeping tail feathers gracefully curved into an intricate dance. This remarkable bird, native to the rainforests of the Australian southeast, is known for its uncanny ability to mimic sounds. On the coin, it is depicted in a flourish of feathers and poise, a testament to Australian wildlife and artistic precision. The reverse design, sculpted by Stuart Devlin, who served as goldsmith and jeweler to Queen Elizabeth II, captured not just the essence of the bird but the spirit of a nation both ancient and contemporary. On the obverse of the coin rests the profile of Queen Elizabeth II, a portrait executed by Raphael Maclouf, bearing the regality and dignity expected of sovereign currency. Her effigy faces right, a design consistent across many Commonwealth nations during this period. The balance between tradition and modern aesthetics is keenly felt in the coin's visual language. It is not just currency, it is a work of miniature art, struck from cupronickel, measuring 23.60 millimeters in diameter and weighing 5.65 grams, minted in the Royal Australian Mint. The 1990 10-cent coin was part of the standard circulating issue. It was not a commemorative piece, nor was it struck in precious metal, yet its destiny among collectors would change over time. Initially, more than 34 million examples were struck, hardly a scarce number. But as the years wore on, attrition began to take its toll. Many coins were spent, lost, worn down, or melted, leaving behind a shrinking pool of high-quality specimens. And in the eyes of collectors, condition is everything. To the untrained eye, a 1990 10-cent coin might seem unremarkable, just another jingling piece of change found in a glove box or under couch cushions. But under the scrutiny of a numismatist loupe, the details spring to life. The intricate feathers of the lyrebird reveal subtle variations in strike. The rims show whether the die was clean and crisp. The coin's luster, its original mint shine, can mean the difference between a piece worth a few cents and one fetching hundreds of dollars at auction. This is where the story becomes particularly exciting. In recent years, collectors have become more discerning, and demand for premium-grade Australian decimal coins has soared. The 1990 10-cent coin, when found in uncirculated condition or better, has commanded prices that leave even seasoned collectors surprised. At a Noble Numismatics auction held in Sydney, an exceptional specimen graded MS67 by PCGS crossed the block for a staggering 210 Australian dollars. While that might not sound like much at first glance, consider the coin's face value, 10 cents. That's a markup of over 2,000%. In another instance, a proof strike of the same year, sealed in a mint set and preserved immaculately, was purchased for 380 Australian dollars by a collector based in Melbourne's inner suburbs, who was building a complete registry set of Australian decimal coins in pristine condition. The coin's rise in desirability is not simply about scarcity, it's about nostalgia, national pride, and the thrill of the hunt. Many Australians remember seeing this coin daily, never realizing that years later, its perfect form would become so sought after. It's a lesson in how everyday objects, when viewed through the lens of time and rarity, transform into treasures. Stories have emerged of lucky individuals discovering 1990 10-cent coins in change jars or inherited coin collections. One story, shared on an Australian coin enthusiast forum, tells of a retired schoolteacher in Perth who found an MS-65 specimen in a box of keepsakes. After having it appraised and slabbed, she was stunned to learn its value had risen to over 150 Australian dollars. Her coin was eventually sold on eBay to a collector in Brisbane, adding a new chapter to the coin's journey. What makes the 1990 issue particularly attractive is the fact that it sits in a transitional era. The older Maklauf portrait would soon be replaced by the newer Ian Rank Broadley effigy in 1999, and this period saw incremental shifts in the minting process, metal quality, and public perception of coinage. For collectors who appreciate subtle design evolution and the historical context of the time, this coin represents more than just its denomination. Adding to the mystique are varieties and errors, which are the holy grail for some collectors. Off-center strikes, die cracks, cuds, and weakly struck tails of the lyrebird have been cataloged and studied. While these minting anomalies are rare, their presence adds substantial value. A double-struck error version was sold at auction in Adelaide for 450 Australian dollars, an eye-watering figure for a 10-cent piece, but entirely justified given the rarity of such an error on this denomination and year. The coin has also benefited from international interest. Collectors in Canada, the UK, and even the United States have begun to add Australian decimals to their collections, charmed by the fauna, the craftsmanship, and the stories behind the coins. The 1990 10-cent coin, while not the rarest of all, is increasingly being picked out from bulk lots and cherry-picked from dealer trays at shows in London and New York. It has become, in a quiet way, an ambassador of Australian culture and numismatic art. Some dealers now list high-grade examples for upwards of 250 Australian dollars, especially if graded and encapsulated by third-party services like PCGS or NGC. Demand is strongest for coins with original mint luster, no signs of cleaning, and well-defined details on both the obverse and reverse. Coins from proof sets, when liberated from their plastic capsules, can also command impressive sums if preserved carefully. The journey of the 1990 10-cent coin from a utilitarian object to a collectible is a story of time, preservation, and the eye of the beholder. It underscores the idea that even the most ordinary things, when seen through the right lens, can become extraordinary. This coin may not bear the image of a famous monarch alone. It also bears the memories of countless hands, pockets, and transactions. Each scratch and nick tells a story. But in its finest form, gleaming as if newly struck, it becomes a time capsule, carrying with it the essence of 1990s Australia. And this is just the beginning. Top 4. In a world of shimmering silver and gleaming copper, where coins pass through countless hands, tell silent stories, and carry with them traces of history, one small yet significant piece holds a tale richer than most realize. The Australia 2005 10-cent coin. At first glance, it's just another everyday coin, unassuming, often overlooked in the depths of pockets, coin jars, or between sofa cushions. Yet beneath its nickel-plated surface lies a narrative deeply etched in Australia's numismatic legacy, blending art, national identity, and collector obsession. The journey begins not in 2005, but decades earlier, when Australia transitioned from pounds, shillings, and pence to a decimal currency system in 1966. This monumental shift gave birth to a series of coins that would come to represent not just the economy, but the very spirit of the nation. Among them was the 10-cent coin, modest in denomination, but majestic in design. Designed by Stuart Devlin, the 10-cent coin has always borne the image of the lyrebird, an extraordinary creature native to Australia, famed for its elaborate tail feathers and its unmatched mimicry. It's a symbol of uniqueness, echoing the very character of the Australian people. Fast forward to 2005, a year that came quietly in numismatics but would later be recognized by keen-eyed collectors as one of particular note. Unlike years that carried commemoratives or saw major design changes, 2005 was steady and traditional. Or so it seemed. The 10-cent coin of the year was struck with precision and fidelity to the original design, yet it carried subtle differences that would ignite the interest of collectors years later. Minted at the Royal Australian Mint in Canberra. The 2005 10-cent coin had a mintage of over 59 million, a number that would seem to disqualify it from rarity status. But as any seasoned collector knows, quantity does not always determine value. It is nuance, anomaly, condition, and provenance that elevate a coin from the mundane to the magnificent. The 2005 issue, while not rare in circulation, became a fascination in the numismatic world due to the superior strike quality found in some batches and its remarkably low availability in high-grade mint state condition. The obverse of the coin features the regal effigy of Queen Elizabeth II, sculpted by Ian Rank Broadley. Introduced in 1999, this effigy reflects a more mature monarch, a deliberate contrast to earlier youthful representations. It was meant to project strength and continuity, qualities embodied by the monarchy as well as the nation itself. On the reverse, Devlin's lyrebird appears frozen mid-step, its fan-like tail feathers unfurled with artistic flair. No matter how many times one sees it, the design evokes a sense of admiration. It's not just a bird, it's a tribute to Australia's natural heritage preserved forever in metal. What elevates the 2005 10-cent coin from the ranks of common change is its appeal to niche collectors. Those who search for full bands on the lyrebird's tail, flawless fields, and minimal contact marks. These collectors know that coins in pristine condition are elusive, especially in denominations meant for daily use. Circulation destroys beauty, friction, moisture, and time degrade surfaces. To find a 2005 10-cent coin in superb uncirculated condition is to stumble upon a piece of frozen history, as perfect as the day it left the mint. But the real surprise came years later when collectors began submitting their coins for grading through third-party services such as PCGS and NGC. Few specimens reached the coveted MS67 grade, and even fewer touched MS68. These coins, in such high grades, are akin to treasure. They are not just money, they are artifacts. And as auction houses from Melbourne to London discovered, demand was quietly growing. In 2022. A stunning 2005 Australia 10-cent coin graded MS68 by PCGS appeared in an online auction hosted by Noble Numismatics. Bidding began conservatively, but as collectors realized the coin's grade and visual appeal, the pace quickened. What should have been a few dollars worth of nickel suddenly soared. The hammer dropped at an astonishing 180 Australian dollars, a figure nearly incomprehensible for a modern, high-mintage coin. That auction set a precedent. Since then, other high-grade examples have sold at international auctions, including Stacksbauer's and Heritage, fetching prices upwards of $150. Particularly when accompanied by a strong provenance or exceptional IAPL.in numismatics, stories like this breathe life into collecting. It's not just about precious metals or ancient history. It's about the unexpected, a coin meant for vending machines and supermarket tills that defies its humble destiny and takes center stage in auction halls. It's about the passion of the collector who finds a gem among the gravel and the thrill of holding something that, though once ordinary, has become extraordinary. As interest continues to grow, especially among new generations of collectors and investors. The 2005 10-cent coin finds itself in the spotlight. Social media channels and YouTube videos highlight this piece as an underrated gem, a sleeper hit waiting to be discovered in change drawers and family coin jars. And while millions still exist in worn condition, the hunt is on for those rare few that remain untouched by time. Collectors now scour eBay, Facebook Marketplace, and estate sales, hoping to unearth a high-grade example. Some turn to rolls, meticulously searching for that one coin that stands above the rest. Others, driven by the thrill of the chase, invest in professional grading, dreaming of the coveted MS68 or the near-mythical MS69, a grade not yet seen, but always hoped for. And so, the story of the Australia 2005 10-cent coin is one of transformation from common currency to collector's dream. Its value is not just in metal, but in meaning. It teaches us that beauty lies in the details, that history is often overlooked, and that sometimes the most valuable treasures are the ones we carry in our pockets. Top 5. It was the year 2006. Australia was humming with the rhythm of change, politically stable, economically robust, and culturally vibrant. Yet, while much of the world focused on global headlines, a small, shining piece of metal was quietly pressed in the Royal Australian Mint in Canberra. At first glance, it looked ordinary. A mere 10-cent coin, something most would drop in their change jar and forget about. But numismatists knew better. For some, the 2006 Australia 10-cent coin was more than a coin. It was a hidden gem in the world of currency collecting. Crafted with precision and an artist's flair, this coin bears a design that dates back decades. A tribute to Australia's rich artistic heritage. The reverse side, designed by Stuart Devlin, showcases a mesmerizing image of the male superb lyrebird. With its elaborate tail feathers arched like a crown, the lyrebird appears mid-strut, as though performing for the nation. Its elegance isn't just aesthetic, it symbolizes Australia's deep respect for its natural wildlife, a nod to the unique ecosystem of the continent. Every curve of the feather, every line etched into the metal, reflects the fine craftsmanship of the Royal Australian Mint. Flip the coin, and there she is, Queen Elizabeth II, regal and timeless. Sculpted by Ian Rank Broadley, her effigy had been gracing coins since 1998. But in 2006, her likeness carried new weight. It wasn't just a symbol of monarchy, it was a symbol of continuity, of a nation bridging the past and the future. Her gaze was steady, her crown gleaming, as if guarding the value that this little coin would soon come to represent. Minted in large numbers, the 2006 10-cent coin was initially considered common. Millions of Australians would hold it, spend it, and toss it into pockets and purses without a second thought. Yet, as with all things collectible, rarity isn't always about quantity. It's about condition, quality, and quirks. And this coin? It had quirks that would send collectors scrambling. Some bore off center strikes. Others had die cracks or planchet errors, minting mistakes that turned ordinary coins into extraordinary treasures. In the underground world of coin enthusiasts, whispers started to spread. Collectors noticed subtle differences in finish and alignment. They began hoarding pristine examples, keeping them sealed away in airtight capsules, their luster preserved for future glory. The market slowly began to stir. Forums lit up with speculation. Could the 2006 10 cents become the next hidden treasure? Then came the auctions. In early 2024, an uncirculated specimen of the 2006 Australia 10 cents coin, graded MS67 by PCGS, was put up for bidding at the Noble Numismatics auction in Sydney. The room was quiet, tense. Enthusiasts from around the world had flown in. Others watched via live stream. When the hammer finally fell, the price stunned the audience, 1,320 Australian dollars for a 10-cent coin. But it wasn't the price that shocked seasoned collectors, it was the confirmation. The market had spoken. This coin was no longer just spare change. It was an investment. Other auctions followed suit. In Melbourne, a rare variety with a visible die clash crossed the block at Downey's Australian coin auctions. Bidding was fierce, with international buyers driving the price to an astonishing 1,560 Australian dollars. Meanwhile, a private collector in Perth paid over 2,000 Australian dollars for a flawless proof version, still sealed in its original mint packaging. For a coin that once lay forgotten in a wallet or hidden beneath a couch cushion, the rise was meteoric. What drove this obsession? Part of the answer lies in nostalgia. The 2006 coin represents an era, the mid-2000s, when Australia was redefining its place in the world. The coin, humble and elegant, carries the spirit of that era. But another part is simply allure. The beauty of Devlin's lyrebird, the enduring grace of the Queen's portrait, and the quiet thrill of owning something rare, it's an irresistible cocktail for collectors. And there's the psychological aspect. With each passing year, coins like these vanish from circulation. They're lost, damaged, or forgotten. Pristine examples become scarcer, and values rise accordingly. The collector's mind doesn't see 10 cents, it sees rarity, condition, potential. A coin like this, especially when slabbed and authenticated, becomes a trophy, a talking point, a piece of history encased in plastic. As the video continues, We delve deeper into the mintage records, explore the errors that make this coin stand out, and uncover the profiles of those who collect them. We'll hear from experts, mint officials, historians, auctioneers, each one offering insight into why the 2006 10 cents is quietly rewriting its place in numismatic history. We'll visit private collections, zoom in on high-definition macro shots of the coin's texture, and retrace its journey from the mint floor to the auction block. By the time we reach the end of this story, one thing will be clear: this coin, once overlooked, has earned its spotlight. Whether you're a veteran collector or a curious viewer, the tale of the 2006 Australia 10 cents coin is a reminder that sometimes the smallest treasures carry the biggest stories.